What's going on, Ultra Buddies? Jerry and Gankun here for Trigger Week. That's the big reveals for this week. I believe this is our 6th triple rare from the set. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
It's
have
number 6, 2 left.
Zeton, Mephiles, Taiga, X, Trigger, Chimera. So Trigger is the number 6. And so there's 2 more, which will be exciting to see. But let's talk about Trigger first. Where was he?
Yeah, let's start with the big one.
No, wait, where is it? I should have just picked it. I knew. Did they start? Did they change it up?
I think you have to start with this one.
This is like usually they put it at the end. That's why I'm confused. All right. Glitter, Trigger Eternity Glitter Blade, level 3, 18,000. You'll love to see it. Double or triple, while your characters have total level 15 or higher, while your single cards with Trigger in the name each have their BP grade increased by 1. And also, if your characters have total level 25 or higher, all your double characters with Trigger in the name each have a BP grade increased by 1. Does not stack. Pretty crazy effect. It's cool to see something new still. Like, we've never seen total level before, so I love the splash of something new. And it's nice. I feel like it could work with both with Trigger Dark and with Decker.
And just as a fun note, it is the name Trigger, not the character name. So keep an eye out if there's ever a card like a kaiju or something. I can't think of any top of my head that just happens to have Trigger somewhere in the name.
Like if there's because there's a kaiju named Nebius Killer, right?
Yeah. There's no Trigger Killer from what I'm aware of, but you never know. If someone ever forgets to double check this when they release a new card, or they have a scene card with Trigger or something in it,
yeah,
might be something funny you can do.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. True. But yeah, I think the hardest part about this is getting the total levels. Which I think we'll see the rest of the cards will help with that a little bit. But if we look just at numbers wise, to get 15 grades with just level 3s, you have to go to round 5.
Yeah,
you might be dead by then. If we mix in level 7s, so like Trigger Dark, then you could be looking at round 3. No, sorry. Yeah, round 3 or earliest if you have the 2 Trigger Darks, which is not too bad.
Yeah.
But to hit the 25, you also have to get to like round 5 because you need 3 Trigger Darks, which is 21, and then 2 triggers, which is plus 6, so 28, 27. Or just like all Trigger Dark. So it's kind of interesting. It feels like you need a Trigger Dark heavy deck potentially to make the most advantage of this. And then what else? I think I'm personally most excited to just try to update a Trigger Decker and see if I can hit people with the big you play a single trigger and it's triple BP, double BP grade up. I feel like that's going to be really hard to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 18k off a single will be crazy.
Yeah. And before we move to the next characters, I'm going to go digging a little bit because I want to. This was not my idea, so I feel like I got to shout them out a little bit. There was a Japanese player on Twitter who noticed that if you set up a level 6 kaiju like a Zeton, you can actually activate the 15s before like on round 4. So here you have 3 level 3s, which is 9 plus the 6 is 15. So that's a pretty cool tech. Definitely something I'll explain around more. Shout outs to UCG Minto for finding that. So let's move on to the rest of the cards. We also have a Trigger Dark. Why don't you read this?
Yeah, so for Trigger Dark Circle Arms, we have an effect that is as a double or triple. When this character enters play, you may give one of your double trigger a BP grade increase by 1 for the turn. And it is the not the character name, but the card name Trigger. So this would apply to both Trigger and Trigger Dark. And also, as always, remember, Trigger Dark is also counted as an Ultra Hero type.
Right. makes him super weak to Zamara, which is pretty unfortunate. But
Yeah.
that probably won't matter unless we see like Trigger Dark being really really good, or someone just really dislikes Trigger Dark.
Yeah. But yeah, we're just looking at the previous one. So this one is interesting because it's only targeting double triggers. So you double is a weird state where if you already have the 25 levels, then this card doesn't actually do anything.
True.
But this can help you survive a turn until you finally get to round 5 and you have your 25.
Yeah. This will definitely help you get to round 5 when you can get those activate off. I feel like the easiest thing to compare this to is the Geed Galaxy Rising from the starter deck.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like the main difference here being like a double triple versus a single double? And how do you feel about that?
I actually like, I think, double triple more than single double. Like playing a single starter deck G never really feels good unless you've got something really crazy set up in the earlier lanes. I mean, there's other ways to BP up it, of course, but there are definitely times where I might just play a starter deck G as a triple because I need to get something going on the field.
Right.
Whereas
It's
now
like a last
this,
resort, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, last resort, exactly.
Then here you get your 17K triple, and you can still like bump up one of your later doubles into a triple.
Yeah,
a lot more versatile, I think, than that starter deck.
that's very true. That's very true. All right, and the last card for our video is the Scene, which is going to help us hit our level count. So it's a round 2 Scene. If you have Trigger, then exile 3 cards with Trigger in the name from your discard area from the game, and give one of your Trigger characters plus 1,000 for this turn, and it adds 10 levels to that character. So that's going to boost you from 15. It's like 5 to 15. So potentially by turn 3, you have 3 level 3s. You could be at 19, which helps you get the first effect if you're going the Decker and Trigger route, or if you're going with the Trigger Dark and Trigger route, then to get to 25 total, you're only going to need like 10. So you need 15. So you need like a 7. And well, you need 2 7s and a 3, which is still a little tough. But yeah, it's definitely a nice thing that helps it figure it out. But I'm not sure how easy it'll be to use.
It'll be interesting. It definitely fits better with Trigger Dark decks than a Trigger Decker deck because you do have that requirement to exile 3 trigger cards. So a single Scene Search will probably do it for a Trigger Dark deck.
True.
Though it'll be kind of interesting. It reminds me of Balton, where you do need, if you're trying to do this every turn, you're going to need more sources of discard. One Scene Search isn't going to cut it. And there are a couple of cards we've seen that do add a few more discards, but nothing that will like give you an endless supply of fuel, kind of like the Balton we had in BP3.
Right.
So you'll have to be a little careful with how you use it. But like you said, you could have a big burst turn 3 and have all your doubles all of a sudden come online.
Yeah, I think that, at least to me, this one feels more like a kind of like a bridge scene because it's round 2. You can go aggressive, maybe with this one on turn 2, try to grab the lead. Then you play the Scene, and then you're gonna boost up, and like that's gonna give you those extra levels you need to not die till you get set up with a full 25. That's kind of how I'm viewing it right now. We'll kind of see how it plays out. Like, I don't super love the idea that like you need this to not die, so I'm kind of hoping we can like finagle a way to survive without it. But we'll just kind of see how it goes.
I think this will be really interesting with that plus 1,000. I think will make a big difference.
Yeah,
Being
that's
able
gonna be
to like break a G'd Magnificent tie, your 18/18s, you have a 19, that's one lane. You're giving like BP grade ups to your singles, and now you have like another 18K or another 17K. Throw in a Zeton somewhere in the mix, and you might have a recipe for a disaster.
Yeah. And then I think the last thought I have for the triple rare itself was like, I want to play it with with Decker, just because like playing singles as triples is like going to be insane. But part of me feels like the Trigger and Trigger Dark deck is going to be a little bit more versatile because it's kind of like a Decker that's easier to get online.
Hmm.
Like you don't need another triple to get this one online. So you could just have like a bunch of doubles, and then eventually it'll fix itself into a triple,
Yep.
which is kind of nice. So it feels like it's a lot more versatile than the current Decker deck, while still having the same advantage of like, okay, I can play a single as a double power.
Yeah, thinking about the decks you might build with this, it reminds me a little bit more of like King of Victory decks we had a few sets ago, where they're definitely top heavy. You don't really want to be building King of triples. You very rarely wanted to build, at least early on, Victory triples. So you really leaned into your 2-3 doubles. This deck will be doing something similar and relying on PP grade ups to make up the card difference for a lack of, I guess, card draw.
Yeah. I could see a version of this where you like go Trigger and Trigger Dark, and you don't play any level ones, and you just go like scene searches, and then turn 3, you go for a like Glitter Teak Eternity in lane 1 with a Trigger Dark to boost it to 18 to really fight for lead. Then you play the scene. The scene is gonna bridge the turn 4, boosting you up to 25, making all your doubles into triples, and then so you boost your turn 4, and then you go to turn 5, and on turn 5 you'll hit the condition for the rest of the game. And like, so I could see a version like that too. It's going to be interesting to test out and see what works. But let's move on. We've got plenty more cards to talk about, and another trigger card that is going to be really interesting. That was really tiny. Can you read that, or should I just do that?
Yeah, I can read this. So this is the other half of our Trigger Dark scenes in deck. So this one is an activate as a 3-round scene card. If you have Trigger Dark, discard 1 trigger card name card from your hand, and then for every 10 levels your characters have in total, give the battle opponent of one of your trigger minus 2,000 for this turn, and you cannot choose the same character more than once with this effect. So
really crazy, right?
level 3 is minus 2,000. Yeah, I think it's definitely crazy. It reminds me of what was it? Labyrinth was a minus 2,000, and if you had the setup right, it was like 2 minus 2,000s. This is very similar. You shouldn't be too difficult to get a single minus 2,000. But if you really have your setup and you can get to 20 levels, just like the Nexus stuff, you can have
the 20 levels is pretty easy though.
Yeah,
I feel like it's more like Shining Ones to me, because Shining Ones gives you 2, and I feel like if you play this on turn 3 and you have 2 Trigger Darks and 2 triggers, then you've got 20 levels, and that's going to be 2. And what's crazier, I guess, in the sense that it's more like Nexus, is like it doesn't kill itself, right? You get to do this every turn.
You get to do this every turn. Just have to have a trigger card in your hand. Probably not that hard to do. Though I don't know if you'll be able to do this too many times. Just because if we said, if you're playing a level 3, level 7 heavy deck, you're not going to have a lot of draw. So you have to be kind of careful with how you're using this one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But this is really powerful. Like the more I think about it, I'm like, wait, this is pretty crazy. And then if you want to meme a little bit with this, you can go for the Trigger Dark Z option, where you play this scene, activating, getting 10 additional levels, and then use the Z effect to bring in the round 3 scene to get an extra minus 2,000. Pretty silly. Don't know how good that would actually be, but I kind of like the idea. It seems pretty funny.
I think there's some interesting things, but you do have to have Trigger Dark also for the scene. So now we're in the 3 character territory. But
well, it could be like, oh no, because you need Trigger for this one. Yeah.
Yes. So you do have to have both halves.
Yeah. All right. Are you pretty excited for this one? I think this is going to be a fun deck to mess around with in like terms of deck building. But it is like Decker in a sense that like the actual play of it is like, oh, I got my stuff, and can you beat like 17k singles all over the place? All right. Oop, that one's a big one. Glitter, Tiga Eternity. Just if 15 levels, you get plus 1,000. At 25, you get another plus 1,000. Potentially an 18, pretty nice. More likely to be a 13, 17, potentially a 14, 18. 14, 18 is crazy, actually, right?
I think, yeah, 14, 18 is crazy, but it does need that level 25 setup,
Mhm.
which I think we'll have to really play to see how often and how reliable that is.
Yeah,
Um, Remember, this also can't be when you play as a single. If you play it as a single and bump it up, it'll only stay 16. So you really have to hit that level 25, able to BP grade up a double in order to see this card really hit that
yeah,
18.
yeah. All right, next we have Trigger Dark Scene Searcher. Kind of expected at this point. Like everybody gets Scene Searchers, it feels like. Um, Trigger Ultraman Trigger Circle Arms is a muscle draw, so return up to 2 cards from your hand to the bottom of the deck and then draw that many. This will be nice. Now, Trigger has 3 double
Yeah.
R level 2s, Scene Search, Muscle Draw, and a Scene Removal. So kind of has the whole gamut. Like the level 2s are very strong in Trigger, so that bodes well for the deck, I think. And then we have X, the I'm the ultra hero that frustrates me the most in this game. We have X in Peril, the new round 3 scene. Activate once per turn. If you have both X and Max, choose 2 of your ultra heroes with printed double BP of 11,000. They have both have to be 11,000.
Yeah.
I just realized. And then swap the place of the chosen ultra heroes. And then you discard the scene, um, kind of like a Tiga on demand.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think?
Uh,
I feel like I need to not go into rent mode. So
I mean, I if it wasn't for the X max requirement, I think this could be really funny and interesting scene.
yeah,
Because there are other decks with 11k characters that, like, being able to swap a Gengar around, being able to swap
hmm,
stuff around, like, I don't know, Gaia's. There's so many like different interesting cards with 11k. But now that this is locked into X and Max, I feel like all of the creative ideas you could have had with this are very constrained to this specific deck.
hmm,
I don't think we're going to see a lot of triple character decks, to be honest. I think it's very
no,
difficult to pull off. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to play Max X, you would want this scene. That way you can get your double maxes that you draw later into the game and swap
yeah,
them back to your front lane.
yeah,
But it just still feels it's tricky because you could do something where you build an X triple in lane one.
yeah.
You get some discards and things along the way. And
Like,
maybe it's a
and then you
weaker 16k. Yeah,
swap it into a 19 later, and bring a 17 up to front.
exactly. So I feel like it's still not the worst thing in the world, but it just felt like there's a lot more potential if you removed one or two of these restraints.
Yeah, yeah. Mostly just the max part.
Pretty much.
um, we also have another terrible max card, uh, X card. If X is so bad, he tried to borrow the power of Zeton. It didn't work. As a triple, you can give the battle opponent of one of your ultra with printed double BP of 11,000. A BP grade decrease for 1 turn. It is nice that it's not just the battle opponent.
Hmm.
Like it at least redeems it a little bit, but a 16,000 level 3 that only works on a triple feels hard to be happy about.
It. I mean, I'm looking through the scene now that we're just talking about it. There's some maybe synergy here where if you
Hmm.
play this on turn three
Yeah,
as your triple, you should get lead if you're BP downing the newest lane,
yeah,
and that can get you the scene. And then turn four, you play a max double and swap it back into the front and swap this
true.
guy. 16k in lane four is not bad. It's not amazing.
That's true. That's true.
Not
You
bad.
could go. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You could go like, I don't know. Yeah, you could play like a 14k double in lane 3, BP down it. Not 14k. It can't be a 14k double. Oh my god.
I mean, it could just be
I
printed 11k, right? So it
Yeah.
could still be an 11k like 2-3, and you BP down it.
I disagree. There's so many like 13k two threes, if 12k two threes, like that, like with BP grade up effects like Magnificent, it's so easy to just like counter that plan.
Oh yes, yeah.
So
It's not a foolproof plan by far, but
anyway,
uh, it'll help you not die turn 3, and you hope you get a scene out of it.
yeah. My biggest complaint about X is that like it's not its own deck. They like had the level block gimmick or the reveal the top card of the opponent's deck gimmick, and then they said, no, we're gonna give you just super generic support the next time by discarding your scene for power, and then now we're just gonna make you like Max's lackey. You can't play X without Max, or like you could, but it feels bad because you don't get the new scene, and then the new scene discards itself, so it doesn't even work with the Gamora armor X from the last time X got support. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. And our last X card, at least looks super sick. I think X might have my like favorite arts in the game. It's debatable, but I really like some of these cards. But it's just a kaiju killer, which is useful. Winston's rating a lot of kaiju. But yeah, we'll see how X plays out. I'll at least try it, but not hopeful. And our last card today, Red King, double rare Red King, 9,000, 14,000. And then can you read us the effect?
Yeah, so this is a Red King hazard type kaiju. As a single or double, it has this effect where continuous while you have a double kaiju with type hazard that is not Red King, give this character plus 2,000 BP. Additionally, when you have 2 or more double kaiju with type invasion, give this character another 2,000 BP. So it's just really interesting. Kind of reminds me of Ginga, like a budget Ginga in a way that when you have this as a double and you have another hazard type double, it's 16k, just like Ginga's 17. And with just the right setup for doubles, essentially, you get a 18k. And then when you stack this on top of some of these other like Mephilis's game and level up scenes, you could get some pretty powerful Red Kings going.
Yeah, because I think the other Red King gives like plus 2,000 or minus 2,000 to its lane opponent.
And another 2,000 if it's a kaiju opponent.
Yeah, and then that's actually kind of crazy, right?
Right. So
because then if you could level up into it, then you could set up like a 20k even.
Yes, you could set up a 20k, and all you would need is
22k.
Oh yeah. That would be the full setup with 4 doubles. But even just 2 hazard doubles like this and something else, you're still hitting 20k against the kaiju. Which, if you're playing Mephilis's game, you just park a level 5, or you just hold onto a level 5 Red King in hand, and you just go swinging hard all in, just plop it in front of their 18k whatever, and just bump it straight up. Also remember, Trigger Dark is a kaiju, so Red King against Trigger Dark decks, you play this.
Just Trigger Dark, it suffers so much for being both types. That's pretty funny. All right, well, I don't have too much more to say today. Excited to try out Trigger Dark. Curious to see which version will kind of come out on top for me, whether it's Trigger Dark or Trigger Decker. And 2 more triple rares to go.
Yep.
I think we're expecting Nexus, and then the other one we have absolutely zero clue. It
Gaia
feels like
at this point, we haven't really seen any
point.
other characters.
Yeah, I don't know that they have much room for more characters. I think there's a very, very, very small chance it's like Metron or something.
Metron triple R could be cool. Yeah, Balton triple R, maybe it's making a comeback.
Oh my god, it's Balton. Balton's back. That would be the craziest reveal. A Balton, yeah. I think probably Gaia and Nexus at this point. So looking forward to those, and we'll see you hopefully soon with those news. Bye.
All right, bye.